Okay, so not to be academic, but I just wanted to give everybody kind of like a historical sense of the disinvestment that has been going on in our city and how the gentrification on steroids and overdevelopment of all of these districts. We're District 3, which is Chelsea, Hill's Kitchen, where a lot of the hotels were. It's the most gentrified district in all of the 51 districts. So what I'm here to kind of explain is how gentrification and overdevelopment are the drivers of the affordable housing crisis and our homelessness crisis. So, one of the big problems is that there's no supportive housing for the mentally ill. And a good portion of it needs to be in the city. Now, Eric Adams is talking about supportive housing in the outer boroughs, but actually, there's a substantial portion that needs to be in our city, where the supportive services are actually in the building on the first floor, and also where people who are in need, if they live in these supportive housing facilities, they also need to be near the rest of the city services. So I believe that supportive housing needs to be not just in the outer boroughs, but also in the city. And that would actually get people off the street. Also, there are no deeply, deeply affordable single room occupancies. And I don't know, I've been here for 30 years, right? I remember SROs everywhere where teachers and students and people who are low income could actually live there and stay there for a while until they transferred out to maybe they had a better job and they had actually better housing. So since 2000, nearly 150,000 to 200,000 SROs were converted over to luxury housing. So that's a huge problem because that contributes to our housing and homelessness crisis. Also, incarcerated people often have mental disabilities. They need to automatically be set up with housing before they get discharged. So that's already taken care of. And also they need quality care and also follow-up to make sure that they're integrated back in society. Often people who are discharged, they do not have any planning, they do not have any services, and that needs to change. Also, there are other things like organized communities. They're called clubhouses, where people in need can kind of congregate together under the watchful eye of social workers. That's really important. That's another way that people can integrate back into society in a safe way. And also there's drop-in centers, local crisis centers, medical respite beds, where people who, if they are injured and they are mentally ill, they can get discharged from the emergency room and go into a place where they can stay 2 or 3 weeks to actually recuperate. So all of this is investment, and I stand with Mike and Charlton. The politicians will say that they're giving all this money for this service and that service and that service and Thrive NYC, and it's not there. It's just not there. And honestly, I'm beginning to think that all the city services, it's one big joke, because it's not really present. And I agree with Charlton, get out there, confront these elected officials and tell them that they're not doing anything and tell them that we're going to vote you out. That's the only thing they respond to. Thank you.
Yep.
Marty Halassa.